Pushpa 2, the rule, or should I say the unstoppable rule, as it continues to its rising growth towards unprecedented box office success since its release on the 5th of December. Now, directed by Sukumar, the film is the sequel to the 2021 blockbuster Pushpa The Rise, and within just 4 days, ladies and gentlemen, Pushpa 2, The Rule, has shattered numerous records, becoming one of the fastest Indian films to achieve massive worldwide collections. Pushpa 2 has grossed over 800 crore worldwide. That's right, within just 4 days, setting a new milestone for Indian cinema. Now, the film collection currently stands at rupees 621 crore in just the first 3 days and is projected to well surpass the rupees 800 crore by the opening weekend. And the blockbuster is on track to become the fastest Indian film to hit the 1,000 crore magic milestone. Pushpa 2 makes history as the first Hindi film to rake in over 80 crore rupees in a single day as well. Joining me here in the broadcast, who better to talk about this than Krishna Kumar. Very warm welcome to you, Krishna. Krishna, we were talking about whether this film is going to make 1,000 crores, but I remember listening to that one fan who said there's going to be above 1,400 crores for sure. And I was like, well, he's watching film for the third time in a row consecutively, but I mean, take a look at some of those numbers. Surprising, shattering records.
Incredible numbers to say the least. Because the producers themselves have officially stated that in the first 3 days of its release, which is Thursday, Friday and Saturday, the film collected 621 crore rupees across the world. But that doesn't include a Sunday. On Sunday, the film raked in over 140 crore rupees on a single day on Sunday, in which the Hindi version collections alone was over 85 crore rupees. That's a record for any Hindi film's collections for a single day. And half the collections, more than half the collections coming from Hindi, and Telugu also, the collections were fantastic, but because of the size of the market, it made around 44 crore rupees. So incredible Sunday for Pushpa 2, The Rule, and that's the reason why you're seeing these numbers. And guess what? At this state, if it means that the first 4 days it has collected 800 crore rupees across the world, because it is bringing in tons of money from the US, which we will talk about in a bit, tons of money from other markets in Europe and Southeast Asia and the Middle East as well. As we go towards that, which means that this week, before the first week of the release is over, Pushpa 2, The Rule could end up, crossing the 1,000 crore rupee mark, and then, then sites are all about, how soon can Pushpa 2 become the biggest ever, highest ever grossing Indian film?
No, you also have the film breaking Bahubali's lifetime earnings. I mean, that's what I was picking up. And you know what's interesting?
That is Bahubali Part 1.
Part 1. Bahubali Part 1. Yeah, that's right.
Because Part 2 remains the most successful Indian film till date, collecting over 1,500 crore rupees. So,
yeah, is it going to be able to cross that? Well, we'll have to wait and find out. But the Hindi version of the movie is doing so well as well. Talk about, tell the viewers about that.
That's right. The Hindi numbers have been fantastic starting from day one. It made over 70 crore rupees on day one, which was straight away beating Shah Rukh Khan's Jawan record of around 67 crore rupees, 65 crore rupees. So there it started off on that promising note at the beginning, and it ended that weekend on another high, because on Sunday, as I was telling you, the film made over 85 crore rupees. Incredible numbers. No straight to Hindi language movie has made that kind of money in a single day. That too, on the fourth day of its release. Forget first day, second day, third day. No Hindi film has made more than 80 crore rupees straight to Hindi film. Here you have a Telugu language dubbed into Hindi movie, raking in that kind of numbers. And here they've been majorly helped by the kind of showing the film has done in UP and Bihar. Across Bihar, the movie is a massive success. Across UP, the movie is a massive success. And there are stories in UP of how, upon its release, the movie was, screened for 48 hours non-stop, because that was the kind of demand that they were getting over there. All going back to that, how they began the promotional campaign for this movie in Patna, in Bihar, and it's paying off handsomely. The Hindi heartland, giving its vote in resounding favor of Pushpa 2, The Rule, and that's what is helping the Hindi language collections incredibly.
And also, Krishna, we had the Bengali version this time around as well. 6 languages in totality.
Right.
How did the...
At this stage, we're not sure if the Bengali release happened. They released the movie because you had the songs and the promotional, stuff being released online. But then, we are not sure about the release and the collections, the extent of the release and collection. So we'll hold on to that for now, Kabir.
And also, Krishna, about the 3D version of the film, how do people like that? There was 4DX as well, but was there any kind of opinion out there?
No, the biggest opinion out there in terms of the format of its release is IMAX, because there was supposed to be a re-release of Interstellar, that has been postponed because there are no IMAX screens available in the country, because Pushpa 2 is in every single IMAX screen in the country. Because let's face it, there are a limited number of IMAX screens in the country, very limited. So, but then the problem is that all of those screens have been taken away by Pushpa 2, the rule, because they've chosen to release the movie in the IMAX format. So, Pushpa 2 literally leaving no screen, no format unturned to ensure every penny, every rupee is collected across the board.
And such a full of masala entertainment movie that's packed in so neatly and tightly with, of course, Sukumar's writing as well. Considering the opening weekend is a little bit behind us now, Krishna, I think we can talk a little bit about the spoilers. I mean, some of those really crucial, good scenes, iconic ones.
Okay, just one more point I'd like to add about the opening weekend. Pushpa 2, The Rule, incidentally, was the number 2 at the US box office over the weekend,
wow.
beating Wicked, the fantasy film Wicked starring Ariana Grande, and number 2 only to Moana Part 2, which ruled the US box office over the weekend. It was incredible. It even beat the collections of Ridley Scott's Gladiator 2 over the weekend. That's the kind of response Pushpa 2, The Rule got in the US, number 2 in the US box office. Incredible numbers. So, definitely we're going to see more box office records, being shattered. And more importantly, this is not about shattering records anymore. This is about setting new standards for what an Indian film can do in terms of collections, because that's what it'll be, because we're just in the beginning of the first full week of its release. It's going to be in theaters for at least a few more weeks. We'll have to see where this number settles at. For now, it looks like it's going to be setting new benchmarks for Indian films business. But fact of the matter is that all of this has been, if you ask me, what has gone into this is the fact that there's been a lot of good writing, screenplay writing, script writing. Yes, not everything works in the movie, I agree, but that doesn't happen with any movie. There are flaws in any big blockbuster film. When we go back and see, you can find flaws in Avatar. The Sound of Music, when it released in the 1960s, it was panned by the critics, but it went on to be one of the biggest box office grosses. So, no film is perfect. Pushpa 2, The Rule is also not perfect. But what really helped Pushpa 2 really for the large parts, I'm sure you agree, you've also watched the movie, especially the first 2 hours of the film. The writing was impeccable, and the performances of icon star Allu Arjun as Pushpa 2 and Fahad Fazil as the antagonist, the cat and mouse game between these two kept us glued to the screens. So, you'll have to give it to that. Even post that, you had a surreal sequence of the Jatara sequence, where you had Allu Arjun dressed as a woman performing a traditional dance. All of that, gave that great culture and flavor to the film as well. That's what took the film to the smaller centers, stuff that you can connect with, and also for people watching it from the north, it's like a showcase of, hinterland culture of the south. This is in Andhra in this case. So to be specific, the film talks about the district where it's based on, Chittoor district in Andhra Pradesh. So in that sense, it was a great. It continued to do a few things which it did in the first part better. This time around, showcase some culture as well, along with doing a very engaging masala film. So those sequences which might not work for the multiplex audiences in Delhi and Bombay and the big cities, those sequences work big time in the smaller centers, and that's where the moolah is coming from, and that's what's adding to the collections like never before. This is a showcase of how much money you can make if you choose to connect with the hinterland Indian audience.
Well, Krishna, many thanks for the advice of watching the film in its original language, of course, with the English subtitles. I really loved it as well. And I'm telling you, in the United States, it was only second to Moana because everybody loves to see a Dwayne Johnson voiceover on a Samoan animation character. But of course, I think it has raised the bar for Pushpa 3, The Rampage as well, with the big title that comes right up in the end. We'll have to wait and find out as to how soon the film crosses the 1,000 crore figure, because it certainly has set its sail and its motions in that very direction. Krishna Kumar, many thanks for joining with us on this broadcast. Strides into the 800 crore club, ladies and gentlemen.